What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about some hacks for cold weather games. So these are going to be some things that will help keep your hands warmer, keep your entire body warmer, and help you perform better during cold conditions. So guys, hack number one is going to be putting a pair of latex gloves, aka doctor's gloves, under your wide receiver gloves, or if you're a lineman, under your lineman gloves. So how does this help? So anytime that you put like a latex glove on, what it does is it kind of like keeps the moisture, if you will, or like heats up your hand and creates moisture, which keeps your hands actually warm. I picked up this tip like maybe about like 3 or 4 years ago. We did a camp in New Jersey, and it was, it was in March, which was probably not the best decision of myself, but growing up on the West Coast in Southern California, you don't really experience real cold conditions, right? So the first time we went to New Jersey, it actually snowed. It snowed on Saturday. Luckily, we were indoors during the camp, but then on Sunday, we were outside, and it wasn't snowing, but it was probably like 20 degrees with super high winds. It was miserable conditions. If you're at that camp, I appreciate you even being there because it was terrible conditions. But I saw a lot of the kids in New Jersey putting on doctor's gloves, and I was like, why the hell are they doing this? So I started talking to them about it, and then I actually tried it, and it made a massive, massive difference. So if you're a receiver and you struggle, like in cold conditions, quarterback throws the ball, it stings your hands, I highly recommend trying this. So just get a simple pair of doctor's gloves, put those under your receiver gloves, and I promise you your hands will stay warm. Now, fellas, before we get into the rest of this video, if you're a quarterback or wide receiver watching this and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 15 different cities across the entire country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So guys, go to that very first link in the description below. That is where you can get all the information, and that is where you can sign up. Our camps, we limit spots, you guys, and all of our camps are filling up insanely fast this year, so spots are going to be sold out here pretty quick, so make sure you grab a spot. Our next camp is going to be in San Francisco, California. Then we'll be coming out to Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Columbia, South Carolina, Seattle, Washington, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Then we'll be heading out to Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Denver, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, Salt Lake City, Utah, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you want to come out, it's a very interactive one-on-one style camp where we coach you up, give you instructions on how to improve. Check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you there. Now, fellas, this next hack, you are going to need a hand warmer, and then you're going to need something called hot hands. So I'm sure if you live on the East Coast or in a cold weather state, you're familiar with hot hands, but essentially it's a packet just like this. You take it out of the packaging, you break it up a little bit, and it just creates, obviously, heat. And it's one of the best things ever invented, I swear to God. But what I recommend to you, if you're not a guy that wears gloves, get a hand warmer, especially if you're like a quarterback and you don't like throwing with gloves. Take one of these hot hands, put it inside of your hand warmer, and keep your hands in this hand warmer until you absolutely can't, right? So even you could do this even if you maybe do the latex gloves with the football gloves over the latex gloves, but it's just an easy way. Keep your hands in the hand warmer, grab those hot hands, and then before you snap the ball, let's say you're a quarterback, take your hands out and get a snap. Maybe you're a center, you could do the same type of process, but it's a very easy thing that you guys can do to keep your hands warm. You get a hand warmer on Nike or any off-brand hand warmer, they all accomplish the exact same thing, but I recommend putting hot hands inside of the hand warmer. That's one of the most beneficial things you could do. Now, this next hack, fellas, you're going to need hot hands again, and this is going to keep your feet warm. So I think this is one of the toughest things that the first time that I went to the East Coast and it was a cold weather camp that I did that really helped is like, and as a coach, you could wear a bunch of different layers. You obviously can't do that as a player because you got to be able to move around, right? But I just noticed that my feet were so freaking cold, my toes especially. So a tip that I picked up this past year when we were traveling from different states, because we had a couple cold weather camps, is you double up on socks. So you get either one pair of socks, you put it on, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take that hot hands packet, you're going to break it up, and you're going to put it on your toes. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a second pair of socks on so that hot hands is in between the two pairs of socks. And guys, trust me, that will keep your toes and your feet immensely warm throughout the entire scope of the game, especially if you're a guy that only plays on one side, right? Like let's say you're just strictly an offensive player and you have to sit on the sidelines for defense or vice versa. This is something that'll help you keep your feet warm when you have to spend any time off the field. Now, fellas, I don't know if this is necessarily a hack. I think it's common sense, but this is a great brand of thermal compression wear that you guys can do. I'm not sponsored by this brand. This is a brand that you could pick up on Amazon, but every single cold weather camp that I do, every time that I'm out in cold weather and I'm either training or whatever the case may be, the brand is called DEV, so D-E-V Ops, O-P-S, and you can find this on Amazon, and this is thermal compression wear. So rather than wearing like, the Nike tights, the Adidas tights, they actually look pretty good too. They fit tight to your body if you get the right type of size, so you don't necessarily have to worry about looking stupid, if you will, for the receivers and the DBs who like to wear that type of stuff. but I highly, highly recommend any type of thermal compression wear. They have like long sleeve undershirts that'll go up almost like a turtleneck, which keeps the upper body warm. And then they have obviously compression pants that you guys can wear, but DevOps is a great brand that you guys can get on Amazon, and actually surprisingly cheap for the quality that you get. This has lasted me, this pair of tights right here, probably like 4 years. So guys, I'm telling you right now, compression thermal wear is one of the best things you could do during cold weather games.